If you walk down the street with your head down, your shoulders forward, and you walk down the street, you're probably going to get mugged and you're probably going to get bullied because your body language is saying weak. Or you can walk down the street with your chin up, shoulders back, and walk like you mean it. And people are probably going to avoid you because the energy is saying stay away. So once I started feeling like I can fight a bit, my body language completely changed. I walked into rooms, I walked into situations with confidence. I wasn't big headed, but you could clearly tell that this guy's got some confidence.
Hello, friends. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Mayn Idea podcast, where today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Chris the Heat Van Heerden. Please let me say a brief note about new show sponsors. This show is now brought to you by Athletic Greens, Bubs Naturals, and Vivo Barefoot Shoes, all of which are key components to my daily health, wellness, and fitness routine. To support the show, you can use the links in the show notes or go to my Instagram, which will provide various discounts for each brand. Regarding sponsors, I want the listeners to know that every brand or sponsorship you hear about on the show will have been personally vetted by me, utilized consistently, and put through the test of jiu-jitsu, grappling, strength training, and surfing prior to being invited on as a sponsor. I do this so that I can share these tools enthusiastically in hopes that they help you optimize your health, because the healthier you are and the less pain you're managing, the more you can enjoy life. The other way you can support the show is by taking 30 seconds to leave a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify and subscribe to the YouTube channel. This helps the show get discovered organically and helps me continue to bring on amazing guests. There's also now timestamps in the show notes, so feel free to jump around to the part that interests you most, although I always recommend listening to the episode in its entirety. Chris Van Heerden is a professional boxer from South Africa who currently trains out of Churchill Boxing in Los Angeles, California. He is a southpaw boxer with a professional record of 28 wins, 3 losses, and 1 no contest. Chris's work ethic and mindset have always impressed me, from his diligent recovery routine to his endless training regimen. Chris Van Heerden represents why professional fighters, in my eyes, are some of the greatest humans on earth. I hope that you enjoy this episode as much as I did. Without further ado, Chris Van Heerden. Well, Chris, the Heat Van Heerden, it is such a pleasure to have you on the podcast. I've wanted to have this conversation for so long, ever since I first met you back in the gym. You're always such a kind person who seemed extremely dedicated to what they were doing. And to have you on the show really does mean a lot, man. So thank you for taking the time to be here.
Abe, I say thank you to you, my brother. It's my pleasure. I'm looking forward to this, talking about kindness. My dad always said to me,
Yes.
be kind to everyone you meet in life, because you never know when you're being kind to the right person at the right time. You never know.
How do you manage that part of yourself? Like, in the ring, you're such a menace, right? You're in there to truly hurt the opponent, to win, and to come out the victor. Yet in life, in interactions with someone, like, I think to the first time I met you, I'm just a guy walking by, right? But to truly, you gave me the time of day, you're extremely present. It almost doesn't seem like it should be that way. It came as a surprise. So how do you be both of those people at the same time in life?
You know, I think most of it comes from my upbringing with my parents, especially my dad being such a. My dad was my hero. My dad was my role model, right? My dad. I wanted to be everything my dad was. I wanted to do everything by the book to get my dad's approval. And one of my dad's things that he taught me was be kind. He goes, you're not better than nobody. He said, if you achieve success in your career, whatever, keep grounded, stay humble, don't get a big head, because you're not better than nobody. As quick as it comes, it can go. And I think the fact that I wanted to please my dad so much, it was just part of my life. And then if my demeanor. Yes, I'm a fighter in the ring. If you see me in the gym, you'd be like, if you don't know me and you see me in the gym, you'd probably be like, hey, he's an a-hole or whatever, because my energy is through the roof. I'm very dedicated to what I do, and my body language is saying fighter because it has to. I'm in the gym, but Outside of the gym, I'm a hopeless romantic. I don't like fighting. I try to avoid every corner. If an argument comes at my side, I try to avoid it or cut it down. Um, and I get that from my mother. So I think it's yeah. I'm something I was born with. Like I'm just not an aggressive guy, and kindness. Thanks to my dad, wanted to please my dad. Yeah, that's where the kindness part just always stuck with me, and it's part of my life.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoy this podcast and the guests that I have on, you can support it by checking out my amazing sponsor, Athletic Greens. I started taking Athletic Greens because I've always been a firm believer that health starts on the cellular level. From my competitive years as an athlete to my weekly output of jiu-jitsu, surfing, and strength training, cellular nutrition is a non-negotiable since I need every leg up I can manage. That's why I won't skip on ingredients or quality when I start my day with pure AG1. Plus, AG1 contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, and it honestly tastes good, while all costing less than $3 a day. Look, if you put in the work, you need to reward your body. So, to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Abe. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/ABE to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. When you were a kid, were you drawn towards at
No,
all when you were an adolescent?
the opposite. So I'm one of
Wow.
7 boys, right? So I've got 7 brothers. We 7 boys, and my dad. They're all aggressive men in South Africa. Like my dad and my brothers are the typical guys that, if you looked into their direction and you stare at them too long, they'll look at you and be like, "Yo, what's up? You got a problem with me?" Where me, out of all of them, since being a kid, I'll look a different way. Like I'm trying to avoid any of that. Um, yeah, no, it's. I think it's just I wasn't drawn to it, but being my brothers and my dad being always in fights, trouble did come to me because I think they were seeing me as the weakling, the bullies. I was bullied, and they saw me as,
Yeah.
oh, well, we can get back at the brother. So because of that reason, trouble would come my way, but I would try to avoid it every corner I could.
Were you able to stand up for yourself
So
in
so
those
as a
instances, or was the bullying really in your face?
so as a kid, I was too scared to stand up for myself. Like I said, I was scared of fighting, but I had brothers.
Yeah.
I had brothers that would stand up for me when trouble would come my way. But the brothers weren't always around. So as a kid, I wasn't really able to stand up for myself because I was scared. I was scared. And then I would remember I would go home and I would tell bullies, and then my dad would go take me to school next day and call these bullies out, and then have me stand up to them in front of him, like fight them, and then I'm like damn.
Yeah.
This is a cool story that I tell people. This is the typical way I grew up in South Africa with my dad. Clearly, my dad saw something in me from a very young age. Like he knew that he had to raise me the way he raised me because otherwise I'm going to be bullied or the world will just step on me and destroy me. My dad would put me in the car. I remember as young as maybe 9, 10 years old, my dad would say, "Get in the car and we'll drive to a local township in South Africa." Now, a local township in South Africa is like the rural area where the poor black community
Yep.
is. And my dad would drive me there, get out of the car, and then my dad would always look for a kid a little bigger than me, always a little bigger than me, black kid. And I would see my dad would give this kid money, like he'd give the kid money. And the next moment, this kid would run toward me and start throwing punches at me and start beating me up. I would have to fight back. But 9 out of 10 times, I would go home crying, bloody nose, and I got my butt kicked. And then that was just normal because my dad was like, "Dude, you got to learn how to fight. You got to learn how to protect yourself because this world will get the better of you, and I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that because it really did made me tougher, made me a man. But me being able to defend myself and me being confident in defending myself and actually standing up against bullies, way later, I was out of high school when that came.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, in that transition of developing that toughness at a young age like that, and then eventually becoming a professional fighter, obviously there's a lot that happens between those
Yeah.
2 points. When was that moment where you started to realize, whoa, I have a
Yeah.
skill
So
here.
so so
I can actually lean into this.
I turned pro I was 19 years old when I turned pro. And still, when I turned pro, I still got my butt kicked every day, like in the gym. Like I was in a gym full of champions. Like I was in Johannesburg. The gym was located in Hillbrow. Now that's like the dangerous area in Johannesburg. That's where the gym was located, and that's where I had to be. And I was a young kid, 19 years old, and all these men in this gym were grown up men, champions, former champions, world champions, mature men, and I was a kid. And I would get my butt kicked, man. Like every day I would go home, bloody nose, blue eye, and I'm just like, man, this is tough. Like, and at some point we got to backtrack because where did I fall in love with it? I didn't fall in love with fighting.
I got
I
time.
didn't fall in love with boxing.
Yeah.
I didn't. First of all, my dad forced me to do it. Okay, so I didn't have a choice as a kid. But when I was 18, I wanted to become an accountant. Believe it or not, I was like, I don't want to fight. I want to become an accountant. I've got the distinctions. I can go to college and become an accountant. And I was ready to tell my dad when I got my high school results. I was ready to tell my dad that, Dad, I'm done with this thing called boxing. I don't want to go this route, and I want to, pursue accounting. And since the age of about 10 years old, my dad would say to me, my son, one day when you're old enough, I want to tell you something. One day when you're old enough, I want to tell you something. Now, this has been told to me since the age of 10 till now, finishing with high school, 18. Every now and then, my dad would say that to me. He would say, one day when you're old enough, I want to tell you something. Now you got to know, let me explain to you how I grew up with what it was like for me. I have 7 brothers, okay? If we wanted pocket money, if we wanted to go to the movies, my dad would always say, and by the way, I'm the smallest out of all my brothers. I'm the smallest. My dad would always say, call Chris. Chris, put on your running shoes. Then my dad would look at the kids and say, hey, Chris is going to run the 2.4 kilometer. It's an army drill run, the 2.4 kilometer run. It's like a 1.6 miler. My dad would say, if Chris can run this thing under a certain time, you guys can go to the movies. But if not, well, blame your brother because he couldn't do it. So that's how I grew up. It was always me. It's always me. Pressure, always me. And I didn't understand why me? Why is it always I'm the one he's picking on? And then he would say to me, one day when you're old enough, I want to tell you something. So you can imagine as a kid, I started creating in my head because I don't know my biological mother. I know her now, but I didn't grow up with a biological mother. I grew up with a stepmother. And now my father being so hard on me and saying these things to me, I started in my head telling myself, I know what he wants to tell me. I know what he wants to tell me. Like maybe he wants to say that I'm adopted. Maybe he wants to tell me that I'm not his kid. I wonder when I'm old enough to understand because why am I the one he's always picking on? It's like maybe I'm just.
And you knew this at the time, or you were starting to piece
I'm
together
starting to piece this together. So I'm starting to tell this to myself, right? Because I'm like, he's treating me different.
Right.
He's very tough on me. I'm like, clearly, maybe I'm like the black sheep, right? Like, I'm like, whatever. So I'm creating this thing in my head. But then again, I look at my dad as this beast of a guy, this hero. He was my hero. So I'm 18 years old, about to tell him like that, I want to go to college. And he calls me into the room and he sat me down and he said to me, my son, I'm ready to tell you. He said, I'm ready to tell you what I've always wanted to tell you. And I was like, man, I know what he's going to say. I was like, I know this. And he sits me down and he says, my son, he says, when I look at you, I see myself. He goes, out of all the kids, when I look at you, I see me. He goes, you inspire me. He goes, you have the capability to become a world champion. And it was my duty as a dad to push you and get the best out of you. He goes, so you must have wondered, like, why always you? He goes, because I saw you have it. He goes, and I believe in you. And that was it. And I was like, wow. I was thrown off. I was like, my hero, my dad's my hero. Like, I want to be like that dude. And he believes in me, and he thinks I could be like him. Like, he sees that in me. And all of a sudden, I'm like, that's why, it makes sense. Why me? And he leaves the room, and he gives me a choice. He goes, if you want to go to college, I'll support you. If you want to become a fighter, I will support you. But you got to pick one of the two, because as a pro fighter, I mean, you could die in that ring. So you got to take it serious. Or, one or two. But when he had that speech with me and he left the room, I knew what I wanted to do. I was like, I want to become world champion. If my dad believes in me, now I get why it was so hard on me. Like I made up my mind. I was like, I'm gonna pursue boxing for me for the first time. I was like, now I want to do this for me. Now I went to the gym, and I got beat up. I got beat up, man. I had, I just couldn't hang with these mature men. They were just too strong for me. I was so green. I would get busted up, get broken. Then I ended up getting a blood clot in my nose. So I couldn't breathe. I still have a problem with my nose, but I couldn't breathe through my nose. And I had to go to it for an operation, right? I had to go to the ER. And I'm a man of faith, right? Like, I'm a man of faith. I gave my life, I'm a Christian. I gave my life to the Lord when I was 18. Again, I went through some stuff. And anyway, I'm going to the ER, about to get an operation, and I'm in my head. I'm praying. I'm speaking to God. I'm like, you got to give me a sign. I said, I need a sign, because maybe I'm just shooting over the top here, but I get beat up every day. Like, I don't think this boxing thing is for me, right? Like maybe I'm delusional. Right. Like, you got to give me a sign that I'm on the right path. And brother, I'm in the ER. I'm about to, being put to sleep for the operation. And all I remember was I saw this bright light. Okay, I saw this bright light. So bright I could barely keep my eyes open. And I heard this voice that said, keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't give up. And I was I'm explaining this to people now. We can talk about a whole nother topic where I'm telling this to people and they say, yeah, well, the bright light's the light you were putting to sleep, like whatever.
I was just, it wasn't the light on the operating table, right?
See? Yeah. But I heard this voice, and his voice was so clear, and the voice said, keep doing what you're doing. And I was trying to find the face. I was trying to find the person that's speaking to me through this light, but the light was so bright, I couldn't find the person behind the voice. Anyway, I get that the operation is done. I wake up, still a little drowsy, a little confused. And around my bed is my family and the doctor and my dad and everyone. And everyone is looking at me like, dude, like, say something, right? And my dad says, do you remember anything? And I was like, a little confused. And my dad said, do you recall anything? And the doctor said, yeah. He goes, when you opened your eyes, Chris, the first thing you asked for was, where's Jesus? And I went,
where is Jesus, or
no,
who is Jesus?
Where is Jesus? I asked the doctor, where's Jesus? Yeah. Right? And I I said, I just heard a voice and that was my sign. To me, that was my sign that just keep pursuing, keep pushing. It's gonna come together. So I'm back in the gym, and my body, all of a sudden, I'm starting to I'm motivated. I'm inspired to get better, and I'm starting to handle these guys. Right, I'm starting to get the better of these grown men. I'm standing on my own feet. I'm starting to get the hang of this boxing thing. That's where my name comes from, the Heat. That was given to me from my coach because it ended up being such a tough thing in there to be with me. Like I would put the heat on them. So whoever was in that ring with me, they hated it because I was non-stop. And my coach said, your name is the Heat because whoever gets in that ring with you, you're putting so much heat on it. So that's where I got my name from. And only then.
So is that like a spot? Were you someone who was always sparring at a high intensity? Did you just come alive when that happened?
So hard work. My dad always said to me, my son, you are not the most talented person. You're not the most talented fighter, but there's no excuse for hard work. He goes, a hardworking guy beats a talented guy every day of the week. If you're willing to outwork them, if you're willing to go the extra mile, hard work beats talent. So I was known always as the hardworking kid. I was a gym rat. They labeled me as a gym rat. So because of my fitness and my conditioning and my hard work, that is what made it miserable for them because there was no stopping me. I would just keep going.
Dude, I mean, this reminds me when I met you.
You saw me.
I was seeing this dude over here, and I'm like, in my head, I was like, that guy's got to be a professional because he's in a sweatsuit. I'm like, I'm in there, right? You know, me, I was in there 5 a.m. every day, and I'm like, here comes this guy again in his tracksuit, and he's on the treadmill every single time, single time, doing your ab work every single time, strength work, everything. And I was like, wow, this is one of the more regimented people I've witnessed. And it was 100% that. It was your work ethic showed just in your character.
And my work ethic is, I got that from my dad, and my work ethic is what helped me. Like that never die attitude is what helped me get the better of these guys, right? And that's where I got my name from. And only then that I start believing in me. Only then that I start noticing that, hey, dude, like I can handle myself. Like I don't need to be bullied. I can fight. Like if I have to, I can back myself.
What did that feel like? What did it feel like to start to notice yourself on your own feet?
Man, you know what? First thing, what it felt like, I felt for the first time, I felt like I was a man, right? I felt like, dude, like I'm a freaking animal. Like I'm a man. No one can break me.
Like you're a problem.
I was like, I am. Like no one can stop me. Like I'm a man right now. I was like, I felt so confident and I felt so powerful. Only to say that I was still a kid. But as a kid, feeling what I felt, I thought I was a man. Now that I look at 19-year-old kids, 21-year-old kids, I'm laughing because I'm like, that used to be me that thinks I'm the man, but you're still a kid. But man, I just felt so much more confident and the way I was walking. My dad always talked to me about body language. And today I'm one of those guys that talk about body language because if you walk down the street with your head down, your shoulders forward, and you walk down the street, you're probably going to get mugged and you're probably going to get bullied because your body language is saying weak. Walk down the street with your chin up, shoulders back, and walk like you mean it. And people are probably going to avoid you because the energy is saying stay away. So once I started feeling like I can fight a bit, my body language completely changed. I walked into rooms, I walked into situations with confidence. I wasn't big-headed, but you could clearly tell that this guy's got some confidence. And it just felt amazing.
Maybe you can, for a second, I want to dig on this for a little bit because you're in a unique position where you have such a established professional career and your understandings of this specific moment of this shift, because I want to know what it feels like in a combat sport when things start to groove. And I'll give you an example. Like I enjoy striking, and I like going to striking classes in contrast to grappling and wrestling. But I am so off, man, like technique, skill, power,
balance.
footwork, everything's off, right? It's fun and exciting to try to learn, but I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm getting punched in the face by people older and stronger and better than me. So when you are in that setting and you're in this gym that's just full of champions and grown men and gnarly, talented fighters, and you're in there and you're just getting beat up and beat up and beat up, and you keep showing up and you don't give up and you keep showing up and you keep showing up, what does it actually feel like to
Oh
experience that
man,
shift
like
when you start to put stuff
when you,
together? What is
oh
that
man,
like?
like I said, like it's exciting, right? Because all of a sudden you're tapping into this person, this skill that you've been working on. It's like, man, it's like just one day. It's like doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And I struggle, and one day, everything is just coming together. Everything is just coming together. Like, man, it's an unbelievable feeling when you manage your distance. It's a game of inches. Boxing as well. It's a
Mm-hmm.
game of inches.
Totally.
When a guy throws a punch, you've been able to just get away enough and get back, and you hit him. And if you try to hit a jab on a guy's nose, and you actually land a jab on a guy's nose, I mean, I say this. I say the rush is worth the price to pay. Like, it's. I want everybody to experience that feeling. It's the same feeling as when your song is playing and you walk out to the arena to fight. That
I
feeling,
can't
that
imagine.
feeling,
I can't
that
imagine.
feeling of all the hard work, everything coming together. But for a moment, that 2 minute walk from the dressing room to the ring, the music playing, all eyes on you, walking down my last fight was 20,000 people, and bro, it is,
Gotta feel like a king.
bro.
Feel like a king.
I feel, yes, a king is not even the word. I feel like it's immortal. I feel like I can do anything for a second, for
Yeah.
2 minutes. I feel like no matter what, I can do anything, and that feeling, I wish upon everyone in life to at least experience once what it feels like to feel like that. Um, the price you have to pay is worth the rush is worth the price to pay. That's what I say.
I think it was Izzy in his last fight when he won in the octagon. He said, "I wish that
Man, it
everyone,
is.
for one moment, could feel what this feels like." And I
It's
can only think to not fight sports, to sports that I played when I was growing up when I skied, like the feeling of standing on the podium when all the hard work arrives at this one moment and
right.
you do the thing and you
Yeah,
execute. And
yeah.
that doesn't include the element of combat. I really think that athletes like yourself, you guys experience something special because you overcome someone else trying to
Yes,
hurt you.
right. That's what I tell the guy on the other side of the corner is literally trying to beat the crap out of you, and I'm stepping to it. I'm saying, let's go
Insane.
forward. I'm like, okay, let's do it. But in my head, I'm going, this guy's like, it's scary. Like, I can tell you, like I would, after the night I fought for the world title, the first time I fought for my world title, I would be in my changing room usually 3 hours before the fight. You arrive at the arena, you settle in 3 hours before fight. So you're in your head for 3 hours. You're literally in a room, in an arena, in your head, because you're like, now you're playing this thing out in your head, right? You're playing this fight out in your head. And I'll be so, man, I'll be in that changing room and I would ask myself, what am I doing here? Like, why am I doing this? Because I'm scared. I'm so scared. I'm nervous. I'm
Yeah.
scared. And I'm thinking, oh man, why am I doing this? Like, this is not a nice feeling. Like, this is scary. Like we just said, the guy in the other corner is literally trying to take my head off. Like, he's coming to hurt me. And I would be so scared. And 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 I'm not even making this up. The night I fought for the world title, my first world title, I had a pastor come into my room and into my training room, and he asked, "Can you pray for me?" I said, "Please." And he asked me this simple question. He said, "Are you scared?" I said, "I am." I said, I'm very afraid." And he said, "You should not be." And I still remember. I said, "I'm the one fighting, not you." I'm like, easy for you to say. And he said, no, he goes, the spirit of fear is not from God. He goes, the spirit of fear is there to 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 keep you from what you can achieve. And he opened up the Bible, okay? And he quoted 2 Timothy 1 verse 7. Now I'm a Christian, and 2 Timothy 1 verse 7 reads, for I have not given you a spirit of fear, but I have given you a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. Now, me being so, at that time, I was so committed and so committed and dedicated to my faith that when I saw that in the scripture, I told myself, fear is a liar. Fear is from the evil. Fear is from the devil. Fear is a liar. All my life, up till now, 24, I was afraid, and I have the right to be powerful. I have the right to have a spirit of power. And that changed my mind. And to this day, and I'm not even making this up, Abe, I'm not even lying to you, I promise you, to this day, I've never stepped in that ring with the same fear ever again. Ever again. First of all, I get my confidence from my work ethic, right? I work extremely hard getting ready for a fight. Like I work so hard that I can't tap another box. That's where I get my confidence from. I'm like, you know what? I've done my thing. But then my faith on you have the spirit of power. You have the right to walk in the spirit of power. That has changed my mindset, and I don't have fear anymore. I don't. That same fear I had before fighting for world, I've never had that again. I've never experienced. Now, if that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. I don't know. But it's brought me to this far. But people say to me, well, you need to be afraid because that keeps you on your game. I get that. But mine disappeared because I'm so reliable on my faith and the word that it's my life. It changed it completely.
I was gonna ask you about that, like the mental. So, as
Yeah.
a fan of fight sports, combat sports in general, be that a boxing match, a UFC fight, Bellator, PFL, whatever, you get to see the fighters in the back. They're preparing, and you kind of build up this idea of who the fighter is based on your fandom, how much you watch and keep up on them, then all the promotion that the promotion's doing to make them tell this story,
Yes.
right, of two people coming together for this epic match. You see them walk out, they're hyped up, they got the music going, but you know that they're human inside of there somewhere. And it is natural to be scared as shit when you're about to walk into a fight to essentially the death. And you even saw it when John Jones walked out in his last fight. After the fact, he said, I was terrified. And you could see it on his face. And this is a scary dude, right? How do you, as a professional boxer, train your to be that diligent and that tough in those settings? Maybe it includes your faith, but outside of that as well, because you know that the other guy's doing
100%.
the same thing.
100%.
He's working just. There are no people that are professionals with bad work. All of you guys are complete animals. Complete animals.
I say, you know what? At some level, as professional athletes, you fight for world title. The guy I'm fighting, he is in shape. Like there's no way he's not in shape. He's hit the pitch. So I can't beat him fitness wise. I can't beat him. I'm like, this dude's coming in shape. Like there's no doubt. He's a professional. He's ready. Okay. But now
Yes.
you hear this a lot. People say it's 90% mental, 10% physical. Everywhere you go, people say it's mental, mental, mental. And I always argued that because before I tasted defeat for the first time in my career, that was against the current unified world champion, Errol Spence Jr. That was the first guy I lost to in my career.
Yes.
But before that, I only knew winning, right? I only knew victory. And what got me to that victory was being the hardest working guy in the room. What is what made me succeed, because I was like, I'm an animal. I work so hard. My mindset was, if I'm physically in the best shape of my life, there's no way you beat me. You cannot beat me.
Right.
And then, but I was relying on the physical part of it, right? I was like, if I'm ticking every box physically, you don't beat me. I don't care what you are. You don't beat me. Okay. Then the night I fought Errol Spence Jr. in Canada on Showtime, I was one fight away from fighting Manny Pacquiao, right? So I needed to beat Errol Spence to fight Manny Pacquiao. And I went into this fight, didn't know much about the guy. He was undefeated, but I didn't do much homework on him because I've never really done much homework on my guys. I did it once, and it was the biggest mistake I've made. And I tried to avoid watching fights on the guys I'm fighting. I tried it.
Yeah. So you let your coach
let my coach watch
game
that because I
plan,
made a
everything.
mistake of watching a guy I'm about to fight and knock a guy out to the stretcher, and I couldn't get that image out of my head. So I avoid that.
Yeah.
So I'm up against this guy, Errol Spence, and first of all, the fight is in Canada. Okay. First things first. I was in an arbitration with my management team at the time. So I was in a court case with my management team. So I didn't even have a manager. I had to manage everything myself. So instead of me focusing on my fight, I had to focus on the management side of it. I had to focus on a lot of stuff. But then the second thing was my coach at the time was Freddie Roach. Okay. You know who Freddie Roach is. Freddie Roach never showed up in Canada. My coach never showed up in Canada. The day before the fight, I get a phone call that he's not going to make it. So now mentally as an athlete, having my coach now letting me down, I started questioning everything. I was like, oh man, like no coach, there's no way I can beat this kid. Like I started playing games with him. Third thing was my mom and dad. I haven't been home in like almost 2 years. My mom and dad's going through a divorce. All I want to do is go home and be with my family. So instead of me focusing on the fight, I had all these other things I was focusing on and being distracted by.
Yeah.
Then I get to the ring. The night I walked to the ring against Errol Spence, that is the moment walking down that ring, I was like, oh shit, like I'm in a fight.
You're in this.
I'm about to fight. And I was like, Chris, get your head right. You're like, focus. Anyway, I got beat to post. Errol Spence beat me from pillar to post. 8 rounds. Beat me. Every single round. Beat me. Then I get dropped. For the first time in my career. Never in sparring, never ever in a fight have I ever been dropped up till this point. I get dropped to a body shot. I take a knee.
Liver?
Yeah. Just the accumulation of body shots. I couldn't. Physically, I was so strong. I took it, but then eventually I couldn't. And I was on the canvas. Yeah. Abe, this moment with me on the canvas should be in a movie. I hit the canvas for the first time in my career. And I go down. And it felt like I had a whole freaking conversation with myself in a period of 8 seconds. And I'm on my knees, and I'm saying to myself, Chris, you can end this right now. Just stay down. Stay down for 10 seconds, and the fight's over. You don't need to take this punishment. You can go home, call it a day, end it, get out of here, get on a plane, go to South Africa. Easy, stay down. But, Chris, you can stand up. You're not that badly hurt. You can stand up.
This is like that.
Yeah, no, bro. It's like I'm having a back and forth. It's like you can also stand up and try one more time. But I want to let you know that if you decide to stay down, you have to live with this for the rest of your life because you know you could have stand up. You're a coward. What's it gonna be, dude? And before I knew it, 6, 7, I was on my feet and I was like, let's go. Let's have another dip. And that's the moment I got introduced to Chris van Heerden. That single moment, I knew who I was. I was like, I'm a fighter. I'm not a quitter. I got introduced to Chris van Heerden. And the fight went on 2 more rounds, and the referee actually had to step in because I took a beating. I refused to go down. He just beat the crap out of me. The referee actually stepped in and said, dude, you're taking too much punishment. But that moment, I discovered who I was. It was single-handedly one of the most influential moments of my life. I was like, I am not a quitter. I am a fighter. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that. But then I went home. And that's the first time I understood when people say it's 90% mental, 10% physical. If you're mentally defeated, you're guaranteed to be defeated. And I only realized for the first time how much mental it is. I was like, I was in physically the best shape of my life, Mentally, not even there. I got destroyed because it's mental. You got to think it. Think, it's change the way you think and you can change your life. Change the way you think and you can change your life. PMA, positive mental attitude. That moment I discovered that how much mental most things in life is. You can think your way into depression. You can think yourself into misery. You can think yourself into being unhealthy by thinking all of this stuff, or you can think your way into success. You can think your way into glory. It starts here. And that night,
Do you think that introduction you got to yourself, that's a unique situation, right? You happen to be a world class boxer. You happen to be in the ring, on you. You're fighting for the title, and there are so many other moments in your life where you showed up when you didn't have to, where you kept working when you could have rested, where you
yeah.
got an extra day in when you could have taken a day off, right? Like that's very much who you are. Do you think that type of introduction to yourself is only possible in the combat sports arena, or is that something that you feel like someone could achieve
Oh,
in in
yeah,
something that isn't as
yeah.
physically
No, I think
demanding?
it's something people can achieve across the field. I honestly do think it's not just you don't just need to be in physical combat sport, right? Like you can lose your job. Okay, you can lose your job and be like you can lose your job to a point where you don't have money for food. Okay, you get to a point that my physical pain and fighting that got me there, you can get by. I don't know if you ever starved, but I can tell you, losing everything, and there was a moment where it was I was down and out, couldn't eat, and because I had no money for food, and I had too much pride to ask for help, but I was so low in my life. Now I went from being a world champion to losing everything. That's a whole nother story. But I lost everything, and then it had to happen. Um,
How did that
I'll tell
happen?
you about it just now. But and
Yeah.
when you're hungry and you're hungry, so desperate to eat, you get to a point that you're so desperate to eat, you get pushed past your limits to make a way. So it doesn't just need to be in fighting. You can lose your job and it could be starvation. Where something just clicks, something just happens, and you go, I don't want to be here no more. I'm better than this,
Yeah.
and you make a way where you make a way to get money, whatever, and you get pushed. You know, yeah. No, I think anyone can obtain this moment, not just fight it, but fighting is physically tough and whatever. But yeah, no, me losing everything, brother. I can dig into that. I came to America, world champion. Uh,
And you were already world
yeah,
champion in South
well,
Africa,
world
right?
champion. I was world champion. I lived in South Africa, but I was a world champion. Manny Pacquiao
Gotcha.
beat,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Manny
That's what I
Pacquiao
meant.
beat
Yeah,
Rick
yeah.
Hatton. Rick Hatton lost to Pacquiao. Pacquiao vacated the belt. Uh, I won the belt. I became world champion. Lived to America. Knew no one. Changed everything. And then did not have a promoter at the time, like really valid promoter. I got a letter from the boxing board that said I need to defend my world title. The only way I was able to defend my world title was to go back home to South Africa. I wasn't gonna go back home to South Africa because people already was writing me off. People said he'll be back. People said he won't make it. People said he can't do it. So everyone is expecting me to come back to South Africa. They were like, he'll be,
So you don't want to go
and
back
I
home.
don't want to go back home because then I prove them right.
Yeah.
So I'm stubborn. I'm
Right.
just stubborn dude that I'm like, I'm not gonna go home because then they'll all say I told. I don't want to give them that pleasure because that's just not me. If you tell me I can't do it, I'm gonna try my best to do it. Okay, so I couldn't go home, but
Love that.
then I'm in
Yeah.
America. Okay, I'm on a tourist visa. I don't even have a works permit. Okay, long story short, bro. Um, overstayed my stay in America. couldn't go home because I could go home, but then that means I wouldn't be able to come back to America. Okay, because I broke the
Right.
rules. I'm stubborn, and the boxing board said, "Well, defend your world title." I said, "I can't. I don't have a promoter." Well, before I knew it, I was stripped. So I got stripped. The boxing board stripped me because I couldn't fight. I couldn't have a promoter. Okay, so now,
Right.
yes, being a world champion in South Africa, I had some money in my bank account. Well, the rand American dollar is weak. That's 15 to 1 or 14 to 1 to the American dollar.
That's
It's, hor-
That's
it's
horrible.
horrible. So what am I doing? I'm drawing money. I'm drawing money with my South African car. I'm drawing money to survive, right? I'm drawing money. And this South African bank picks up all these lump sums of money being drawn out of my account. And they froze my account. They froze my bank account.
Nice.
And they were like, "Well, you got to come home."
When it rains, it
Right?
pours.
And they go, "You got to come home." And I'm like, "I can't come home." I said, "I can't come home." I said, "I'm in America. I can't come home." They were like, "Well, we can't do anything until you come home." I'm like, "Well, I can't come home." So now all of a sudden, I lost my world title, and I don't have money. I don't have access to money.
Great place
Right?
to
I'm
be.
like, "Oh man," and I'm just in this deep hole where it's normal to question every decision you make. And I was like, did I make the right choice? I was like, what am I doing? I just lost my world title. I said, now I don't have money. I'm like, did I make the right choice to come to America and chase this vision? What have I done? I'm like, and this thing with myself, I'm like, how did I end up here? Okay, I'm sleeping in a one bedroom apartment. I don't even have a TV. I remember coming to LA and I had a stretcher. I didn't even have a bed. Going through all these things, and yet, every time my phone rings, I say this: one smile has the power to hide 1,000 questions. One smile has the power to hide or avoid 1,000 questions. So everywhere I would go to the gym. Hey, when did I meet you? Do you even remember what year was I met you?
Had to be 15.
I was
14 or
yes.
15.
That was the time I was in the darkest place of my career and my life. And if you think about it,
I already described you as sounding all together, and yeah,
that was the toughest time because I would pretend, I would smile, I would avoid all these because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna let people think I'm okay, but I'm not okay. I'm going through so much. I don't have. So anyway, long story short, I was. Every time my dad would phone, right? Every time my dad would phone, my dad would say, "My son, how are you doing?" I would lie. I would say, "Dad, I'm good. Dad, I'm great." Because I didn't want to let him down. I didn't want to let him worry. So I would be like, "Dad, I'm good. Dad, big things are happening." Nothing was happening. But Dad, big things are happening. And I would keep lying. But my God, these things catch up. Lying catches up to you. You can only pretend to be okay for so long. Mine caught up with me. So this was me. My dad phoned me.
So this is after I met you. This is 2014.
2015. Yeah.
And you hadn't, because you then went on a run.
I lost to Spence.
Right?
I lost to Errol Spence September 2015. I lost to Spence.
Okay, so this
gotcha. But between 2014 and 2015, yeah, I was going through a lot. Like there's so much. But my dad phones me. It's about 11 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night here, early morning South Africa. My dad phones me. "My son, how are you doing?" Again, normal day. "Dad, I love you. I'm doing good. I'm okay. Amazing. Working hard." And the only thing I didn't know how to do is show up to the gym. Because that's the one thing I knew. It's like if I feel sad or I feel lonely or I go to the gym, I go hit the bag, I go train, I always feel better. We all know it. We release dopamine, release serotonin by training. That's where you always feel better. But that's the only thing I had was the gym. I would say this to people. I would cry while I hit the bag. Most people didn't even know I was crying because sweat and tears look the same. Okay. And my dad phoned me. Long story short, I put the phone down. Again, I lied to my dad. I said, "Dad, I'm good." And I put the phone down. And my stomach was growling from hunger. I haven't eaten for 2 days. 2 days, no food. No one knew it. No one knew it. Because I was hiding it. But 2 days went by. I had no food. My stomach was growling. I was hungry. And I gotta say this. A couple of months before this all happened, I started getting suicidal thoughts. Okay? I started thinking of ending my life. I started thinking that I'm tired. I started thinking that this is so hard. I could go home, but I don't want to go home because people are already waiting for me to come home. I don't want to give them that pleasure. I was pretending I was caught up with me. I started getting suicidal thoughts like, what's the easiest way to kill yourself? How can I end this? Like, life with so much. Like, I started getting these ideas, right? But then whenever I get the idea, I'd be like, what are you doing, Chris? Like, shake it off. But I couldn't help it. It would come to me all the time. So I put on my running shoes that night. And as I'm putting my shoes on, I'm tying my running shoes because again, I'm hungry, but the only thing I know what to do, I can't sleep because I'm hungry. I gotta go run. I'm gonna go train. It will make me feel better if I go for a little run. So I'm putting on my shoes, Abe. And as I'm putting on my shoes, all of a sudden I'm like, tonight's the night. I want to kill myself. I'm like, I want to end this tonight. I'm tired of pretending that I'm okay. I'm hungry. I'm growling. I want to end this. So I'm putting on my shoes and I'm like, how am I going to do this though? I'm like, okay, I know how I'm going to do this. I'm going to run. I'm going to find a bus that's coming the opposite direction. And all I have to do is jump in front of the bus. Jump off the sidewalk in front of the bus. That bus hits me. I'm done. So I'm like, okay. So I'm putting on my shoes now with the intention of finding a bus. So I'm running. Wilshire Boulevard, down on Wilshire, towards Ocean. And I find a bus. I find a bus. I see this freaking bus down and I see it coming. I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is it, dude. I'm like, this is it. Like, I'm going to jump in front of this bus. And it was like that. And I was in the road. And the bus was past me. Like, for a second there, I was just like blacked out or whatever. And I just, I missed a jump. And I looked back and the bus was like past me and it hit me. It was like, what are you doing? Like, Chris, what are you doing? Now, backtrack to a couple of months before that. I was on the bus on my way to Freddie Roach's gym. And I was on a phone call with my dad. And there was an old lady on the bus sitting next to me saying to me, she heard my accent and she was like, where are you from? And I said, I'm from South Africa. She goes, what are you doing in America? Well, in Hollywood, in LA. And I was like, oh, I'm chasing this dream of becoming another world title champion again. And she said to me, my son, be very careful. She goes, because this place will make you or break you. And I didn't understand what she was saying. That night when I missed that bus and it hit me what she was saying. This place is busy breaking me. I'm busy being broken. Yeah. And Abe, I gave my life to Christ when I was 18. I won a world title and I became too busy I lost my faith. My faith was tested. I lost my faith. Because life was going good, right? And I lost my faith. I stopped praying. I stopped including God into my decisions. That night, when I almost jumped in front of that bus, I was in an argument with God. For the first time in months, I was yelling at God. I said, why have you forsaken me? I was so mad. I was so angry. It's like, look at me. I said, look at what I've become. I'm basically homeless. I said, look at me. I'm done. How did I end up here? And I cannot explain it, Dave. I cannot explain it. I had that inner voice and it said to me, my son, I've always been right here next to you. You have stopped reaching out to me. You've stopped including me in your plans. You've stopped praying. You're trying to rely on people to make things happen for you. You stopped. Where's your faith, dude? Your faith is gone. And I realized, oh damn, like wow, like I completely went derailed. And I prayed and asked for forgiveness and I can't even make this up, dude. Like things started happening for me again. I got like life just started. Of course, I still have ups and downs, but I got drawn. My center was my faith, and things started working out for me. Yeah.
Well, know that it was tested again
Yeah.
because you lost your father. How did, and may he rest, I know he was someone who was extremely dear to you and someone that you hold in the highest regard. How was that experience, like, to find that again and find direction and find a way
Yeah.
to
Okay.
push yourself through?
So first of all, when I lost my dad, I didn't believe it though, right? I was like, he's not gone because I haven't been home in almost a year, and I just spoke to him the night before on phone, and the next morning I woke up to a phone call that my dad's gone, and it was unreal to me. It was so surreal. I was like, no, I just spoke to him. Like he's not gone. I guess because I haven't been home for a year, like it just wasn't real to me. It was like I couldn't understand it. Then I went home and I wanted to mourn with my family, but the moment I got home, my whole family was relying on me. All of a sudden, I became the pillar of strength, and all of them came to me, and I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta act like I'm strong." So I started being there for them instead of me mourning. I pretended to have it all together for them, and then more than ever, I phoned my manager. I said, "Yo, get me a fight. I need to, I came to America to pursue this dream. My dad would want me to fight. Get me to fight." So my manager put me in three training camps back to back. Boom, boom, boom. So the fire was there because the vision, I had this vision. I believe in visions. We all have visions for our lives. Hey, if you have a vision for this podcast, you have a vision for your life, you have a vision that you cannot explain to me. You can tell me about it, but the way you see it in your head, only you can see. It's different. I have visions in my head. And I had visions in my head, 20,000 people, main event, name up in the lights, the main thing, the big thing. I had that vision still. So I was like telling my manager, get me fights. What I was doing was not knowing what I was doing. I was pressing down the fact that I lost my dad. Yeah. And I was focusing on these fights. So I was like, oh, I have peace. No, I'm good. Then the pandemic happened. Well, before we started the show, maybe we just you asked me, am I going to do another fight? Am I not? What's up? Now I'm going to say some stuff to you, Abe. But I haven't said, you the first podcast guy, so you're the first guy I want to say this to, Abe. You're getting this. But, so the pandemic happened. All of a sudden, I realized I lost my dad. It hits me. I got to deal with that. I deal with that. I still have the vision, though. 20,000 people. But now, Abe, I'm starting to doubt my vision because now I'm like, I lost my dad. My goal was to achieve get my wins, get my victories, get my vision while my dad's alive, so my dad can see me achieve these things. Because I promised him I will. I left home. It's been 10 years now. I left home chasing this dream. All I wanted was for him to be alive and see it, to see my hard work and my sacrifices paid off. His visions paid off. So my dad's gone. I'm in this pandemic. I'm thinking to myself, maybe I was delusional. I'm starting doubting my skill. I'm starting to tell myself, like, I was crazy because I still haven't achieved that victory while my dad's alive. He's gone. I was just crazy. I'm starting to doubt myself. But I go to bed at night and I still have the vision, Abe. I still have the same freaking vision. I see the lights. I see the arena full of people, thousands. I see me walking down. I see it. Anyway, long story short, we're talking about keep showing up, do is go to the gym, train. I get it, whatever. I fight for the world title. In 2020, I get a chance to fight a guy, Jaron, Ennis. Because I'm a former world champion, I'm qualified. We ended up on Showtime fighting for this world title in an empty arena, no people. Pandemic, weirdest thing I've experienced. No people. You walk into a ring with a guy, maybe few people in the place, it's dead. There's no energy.
Oh,
okay,
none.
so it's empty. It's the weirdest experience. Anyway, we have a headbutt, we have a clash of heads, the fight's a no contest, the fight's off. But I fought for the world title. I made myself to a second world title. Everything I dreamed of, I did. I fought for another world title. I have peace. I'm like, Dad, we did it. Like I didn't fight for world title while he was alive. But this is the thing I've learned. It's not in our timing, Abe. It's God's timing. We just got to trust the process. We put a timeline on everything in life. We're like, oh, I want to be in 5 years' time. I want to be a millionaire. Or in 5 years' time, I want to be a world champion.
Good luck.
So yeah, we put all these timelines on, right?
Yeah.
And when it doesn't happen, and when it doesn't happen in 5 years, we lose motivation. We get sighted. We're like, oh man, like whatever. So my vision was to fight for world title while my dad was alive. Well, guess what? It didn't happen while my dad was alive. It happened 3 years after my dad's lost. But the vision did not lie. It still happened. And I've learned that just keep with the process because it is not our timing. The right time, it will happen. Just hold on and work hard and be dedicated. But hey, after that world title, I finally had peace that I about my dad. Then I go to bed and I still have the same freaking vision. The 20,000 people, the big arena. I still have this vision, so I still don't have peace. Hey, I don't have peace. So I'm still in the gym and I'm fighting. So my last fight a year ago was everything I visioned. 20,000 people, main event, Manchester, Conor Ben, the massive, the lights, the mega thing. And I've achieved what I achieved. I lost. We all know what happened. I lost to Conor Ben. Conor Ben just got banned for 4 years. He failed our drug test. Crazy story. But
really?
Yeah, he failed the drug test. So
how does that make you feel?
Abe, here we go.
Straight up.
So losing to Conor Ben, right? I was like, okay, I'm ready to retire. I was like, I lost to a better man. I'm 35 years old. My time is up. I have peace. I can retire.
You seemed close in the ring, though, too.
Yes.
You seemed very like...
Man, I was humbled.
You respected him, your congratulatory raised his arm.
Yes, I was very respectful.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? It is what it is. Every time an athlete's clock's running out. But months go by, the results came back. Oh, he failed the drug test. He's a cheat. So now I go, oh, wait. Did I lose because I'm done, or did I lose because I fought a cheat? So I'm starting to
what do you feel like in this moment today, right here, right now? Why do you feel like you lost that fight?
Wow. Hey, you're going to make me cry, bro.
It's okay. That's what the podcast is here for.
I lost that fight because I was never in that fight. When I lost my dad, I lost my fire. When I lost my dad, I lost the will to fight. I just didn't want to admit it. The guy that murdered my dad didn't murder my dad. He took my dream. He took my fire with it. And I was just chasing that vision. I haven't openly admitted this, and I'm just trying to make peace with it, but I don't want to fight no more, Abe. I don't have it. I don't feel like it. I lost that fire when I lost my dad, and I, my dad was my reason. My dad was my motivation, and I'm there right now. Okay, so that fight, the results of that fight would not have changed. I don't think it would have changed. I didn't want to be there anymore. It was just hard for me to admit it and openly tell people about it because I have this identity that people that know me or see me of. I created this identity that I'm a fighter. So when people bump into me, the question is, when is the next fight? I'm known as this fighter. So I don't know how to put that guy to sleep just yet. I'm trying to figure it out. But the most important thing is I know I don't want to be that guy anymore. I don't feel it. I lost it when I lost my dad. And I think you saw I made a post about 2 weeks ago, like I'm going to give it another go. Mm-hmm. And the moment I made that post and I posted it, it hit me. You don't want to do this because what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And I was like, man, like the fire is gone. And I'm in a place right now where I'm scared, Abe. I'm scared, but I'm excited. I'm equally as excited because I have the next chapter of my life. We all know this.
Right.
Athletes need to retire. There now. But what is next? I don't know. Abe. I'm trying to figure it out. Scared.
Well, I do you feel that feeling of fear again, like you felt
Not fear.
earlier? Is it similar?
Not fear. No, it's not similar. But I feel uncomfortable. I feel very uncomfortable. I feel very. Let me say insecure. I feel uncomfortable. I feel insecure. I feel lost.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm busy. We're starting to shoot my documentary at the end of the month with Peter Berg. We're starting to shoot my story, my life story. With that, I'm getting a book deal. So, okay, so there's
things are happening.
So things are happening, but it's not there yet. And it's also not in my control, right? I'm depending on other people. Whereas a fighter, I knew what to do. Go to the gym. It was on me. The getting like it was on me. The blueprint of how to become world champion was on me. Get your ass up, go to the gym, go work out, train, be the hardest working guy. Do the workout, do the hour, 10,000 hours, do it. I knew what to do. I don't know. I don't know what to do now. I don't know. And yeah, no, it's I lost it.
Do you enjoy teaching and coaching and developing other athletes? Is there some enjoyment in that?
I love it so much. I've got a very strong clientele. Like, as you know, I do train like celebrities. I train some high profile people, boxing, fitness. I do love teaching a lot. I do. Now I do have some people that reached out to me and they said, like, we'll invest in you, open up a gym, get something unique. Now I know that's one avenue. Get something cool in LA, something unique, boxing gym combined with something that will kick off, something that will work.
Yeah.
But also know if I do that, that's going to be my baby. So I'm going to have to be present. I'm going to have to be there. I'm going to have to be dedicating a lot of time for that. Am I ready for that now?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. What do I enjoy? I enjoy this. I enjoy talking. I enjoy sharing my story. I enjoy being vulnerable. So if I have a book and a documentary, there's an avenue where I can go, oh, public speaking. Oh, I can go talk about my story. So am I ready to go into a gym now? No. Do I enjoy teaching? I do. Is that an avenue? Yes. But it's still so uncertain. Like,
it's got to be really hard as a fighter, as a professional athlete who achieved great heights just in any discipline, because nothing will
nothing will
compare to the moment of victory in the gauntlet, right? Like, and unfortunately, Father Time is undefeated. No matter what, you will not be able to fight the same for the rest of your life. So that's just like Glover Teixeira goes in there, right? 40 years old with a guy who's younger than him. He's too tough for his own good. Goes all 5 rounds, get beat to hell. And realize then maybe it's okay, actually time after he won the championship, right? But you see it, you see the heart and soul of fighters. Like you're only 34, 35?
Next month. 36 next month.
Okay, you're only 36, right? You're young and you have the fighter spirit. How do you turn that off? How do you, it's got to be the hardest thing. I don't wish it on anybody.
Tell me, I'm trying to turn it off, dude. I'm trying.
Because then you go in there, you hit the bag, you're like, oh, man, you know what?
You see, I just spoke about this yesterday. Me sitting here talking to you now, I have peace. Like, I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. I put some gloves on my hands. I go hit the bag today for 10 minutes. And I'm going, boy, I still got it. You know, I can maybe still do this. And I'm like, it's such a...
What about like this? I'd love to just hear your piece on this in general. The state of boxing as a whole right now is in a very interesting spot because to some degree it's made this revival in a young. We also have guys
Jake
like
Paul. Jake Paul.
Jake
Yeah.
Paul and Tommy Fury fighting on these cards that have
That makes
big
millions.
That
draws,
makes
but they're not.
millions. Look,
But they're not like, look at your career,
Yeah.
right? 23 wins.
Good. 28.
That's 28.
Yeah.
Sorry, 28 wins. That's grinding for years and years and years, all the way back to when you're a kid with your dad and he's putting you up against kids that you don't know, just making you fight them, right? That's an entire lifetime of this. And there's skipping the line going on in a big way, right, with these fighters. Do you as a professional boxer feel like that is
unfair.
good for the sport,
Look.
or it takes away from the work ethic?
So
I thought about this.
I thought about this. First of all, I said, okay, well, what are they? What's the Jake Paul bring to boxing? Well, he is bringing a new fan base. He's bringing new eyes to the sport. He's bringing new people to the sport. Yes. Now, Jake Paul making millions in his first fight. How do I feel about that? Getting all this attention. How do I feel about that? And at first, I was like, this is not cool. This is unfair. Like, here's a guy like me, 15 years pro, chasing the dream.
Yeah.
It's unfair. But then I thought about it and I looked at it and I said, well, is Jake Paul making a joke out of the sport? And I looked and I was like, no. He's training like a real athlete. He's hired the best coaches. He's really trying his best to get better. So it's like, okay, so he's not cutting corners when it comes to the working out. He's trying his best to do his best. Now, smart about it, his team is smart about it. They call it retired old men. They call it retired ex-fighters, MMA fighters, not boxers, and they beat these guys, okay, YouTube, whatever. I was like, okay. But then I looked at it and I said, okay,
He's a YouTube star.
he's a Disney kid, okay?
But for him to
build that audience, he had to start at zero.
And he built it.
He took the miles, he put in the hard work, he did what he had to do to blow up to be that big. So he didn't cut corners there. He did it the right way. And now he's just using that at his hand to come to boxing. And yeah, that's why he's making the thing. So I was like, you know what? I'm not mad at him. Good for him. I was like, ask yourself the question, Chris. Now let's be real. You're a fighter, Chris. Yes. Okay, well, your friends are movie producers. Your friends make movies, right? I was like, yeah. They want to put you in a movie.
Are you saying yes
or no? I said, of course I'm saying yes. Of course I'm saying all day.
Yeah.
Put me in the movie, dude. Let me make some money and be an actor. Cool. Okay. Your friends, you have starving actor friends that's grinding the butt of going to audition, trying to make ends meet to become movie stars. You are skipping the line because of you're now an athlete at which you spend years and years, you build a name, but now you're skipping the line and you're just getting put into a movie. This is a Jake Paul scenario.
And I was like,
that's actually a really, I feel like that's
and I was like,
oh
shit, like I get it. Like my hard work was the boxing. I built a name. Yes, now I'm in a movie. Jake Paul is a Disney Channel kid. Build a fan base now coming over to boxing. Long story short, I applaud Jake Paul. I think, he's really trying his best. Now, will he get the recognition? Well, he just lost to Tommy Fury. Has like a wannabe boxer, his brother Tyson Fury. He lost. Okay,
Right.
so they lost. But until he fights a legit, he'll never get the recognition. And I don't think he'll ever take that fight. But I like Jake Paul. I like what they're doing for the sport. That fighters are getting paid more. That's on their cards than ever before. They're bringing new eyes to boxing, some records. So good for them, bro. Good for them.
Yeah, I think when, there's that old adage about abundance and scarcity, right? And if you operate from a place of scarcity, you're pretty damn miserable.
Yeah.
But if you operate from a place of abundance and having enough and feeling fulfilled, then things are good. And I feel like it might be annoying from time to time as a fight fan to see someone like that skip the line.
Yeah.
But I think you bring up a great point. It is true. The hard work was done. It was done in a different arena. And at the end of the day, and you understand this if you've ever done any combat sport for a long period of time, even if it's grappling, striking, boxing, to step in the actual ring on the night is a very specific type of person.
Very,
Whether you're fighting Ben
there we
Askren's
go.
old ass or
It's
you're going to
different.
step in with a real boxer, it's different. And that is not,
You can't buy
people
that.
sit on
You
their
can't buy
couch and
that.
talk
You
shit.
can't buy that.
They'll talk shit all day. They'll go, oh, this guy's a pussy. If I was in there, I would do this. All from their couch
Get in
all day
there.
long. And at the end of the
they'll
day,
never get in there.
it's different.
Different.
It's different,
And
bro. That's why I say I respect
I think that
any guy that steps in that ring to show it down with the guy on the other side of the corner. Like you stepping into danger, dude. I respect you. I respect you.
what round do you put him down in?
Well, so let's do this. So let's funny enough, because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna retire, whatever. And then one of my friends are actually friends with his manager, Jake Paul's manager, and he's like, dude, why don't you call out Jake Paul for one last show and get a payday? You're a real fighter. Let's see how he handles a real fighter. Sure. He wants to beat these. Should he get past Nate Diaz, he said he wants to fight another real fighter. You're the perfect candidate because you're 30 pounds lighter than him, 30 pounds smaller. Yeah. You just got knocked out by Conor Ben, so you're 36. You're almost on your way out. So they'll look at you and go, he's done. He's a former world champion. He's a real boxer. Still not retired. Why don't you call out Jake Paul? I was like, so let's call out Jake Paul.
Now, with that being
said, the guy's 30 pounds heavier than me. Like,
that's a lot of weight.
It's a big dude compared to me, right? I'm on one, like, he's a big dude compared to me. I have the boxing skill up over him by far. I surpassed him as far as experience and skill. But he's young, he's explosive, he's wild. It takes one punch. So I got to be careful.
Yeah.
But as far as skill-wise,
doesn't stand a chance.
Right. But he's wild, he's young, he's heavy-handed, and it really takes one punch. Can you see me? It really takes one punch. So I don't know what happens. I'd like Jake Paul to accept my challenge.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's the rising tide raises all ships kind of thing, right? This is good. More people are paying attention to combat sports as a result of it, and that's a good thing because that's going to get more money in the pockets of people like yourself who've busted their ass for 20 plus years doing this thing and actually making it happen. Yeah. I'd still love to see another Chris Van Heerden fight.
And see, it's guys like you that now I go, maybe one more. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm going to be honest. I'm sitting here and I'm like, maybe the feeling will come back in a month, 1 month from now. Maybe the hunger will come back 1 month from now. I don't know, but
it's a scary place to
be because I'm like. Maybe it will come back.
Let's wait a month. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Well, I hope that you do. I think it would be great to see you in there again. I know your work ethic is second to none. You recover like a madman. You're in the cold plunge in the sauna. You're taking care of yourself. You're always training. I don't think that that ever stops when that's a part of your life. And you've shown that, you've overcome some very difficult, heartbreaking things in your life that eat people alive, and you're still here. So at the end of the day, you're winning those, you're winning all 12 rounds of each one of those.
You're a gentleman, man. Thank you, Abe.
Well, Chris, I want to be respectful of your time, man. I could talk to you all day. Yeah. It's been such a pleasure to have you on. I'll be watching closely for the movie, the book, and then also to see you back in there if the cards are right, or to see you in an exhibition. I want to watch you go light some guys up, just get your feet wet and have some fun there, get the payday. Thank you very much, brother. We'll have you on again soon.